Hello and welcome to A-Level Physics here at Haysfield Mixed Sixth Form. My name is Mr. Atwood, I'm the Head of Physics here at Haysfield. Now you'll have 8 lessons of physics a fortnight. I'll be taking some of them and then you'll have one of the other 2 physics teachers with the rest of the lessons. But before we start, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself. I studied physics at the University of Bristol. Strictly speaking, I studied astrophysics. Now I love astrophysics and all things to do with space. But since teaching A-level physics, I've learned that there are many other topics that I'm really interested in. Things like particle physics, nuclear physics, and medical physics. Now that last one was a bit of a surprise to me. I'd never really studied medical physics in my A-levels, or at university. But when I started teaching it, I found that it's a really great subject and it draws together many different aspects of physics to solve a problem. Now you're going to be introduced to our other physics teachers and our physics technician during the course of this video. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the nucleus. Join me on a tour of the physics department. So this is the open learning area that you'll find on the bottom floor of the nucleus. This is where you and other science students can work between lessons to complete your homework when you're in school. So we're inside the Super Lab now. If you have lessons from Miss Pennicott or Mr. Little, this is where you'll be doing your practical work.
My name is Mrs. Greenslade. I'm one of 3 science technicians and I specialise in physics. I set up physics practicals, look after the equipment and generally organise things behind the scenes. I've worked at Haysfield for 16 years. Before that I was a pharmacy technician and I've worked in several hospitals and several high street pharmacies.
So here we are on the top corridor of the nucleus. Now we're at the top of the stairs. Instead of going directly right into my classroom, you go down this tiny little corridor here and you'll find Mr. Little's classroom. Now you'll see Mr. Little's classroom is set up very much as a classroom. This is not, strictly speaking, a lab. So when you do your practical work with Mr. Little, you'll go down to the Super Lab and use the facilities there.
Hi, I'm Mr. Little and I'm one of the teachers of A-Level Physics here at Haysfield Sixth Form. I've helped many students progress onwards to study a wide range of subjects at university, including astrophysics, theoretical physics, engineering of all types, even robotics. Physics opens up so many different opportunities because employers in a whole range of fields, from IT and journalism to research and medicine, are very keen on people with the problem-solving skills that A-Level Physics can help you develop. There's so much to learn about. Since September, my Year 13s have found out about the life cycle of stars, how to analyse starlight, and what a parsec is. I've also taught them all about electric fields, magnetic fields, and capacitors, and medical physics, so how physicists working in hospitals can take images using X-rays, CAT scanners, and PET scanners. As it turns out, there is more than one way to scan a cat.
Now we're going to find Miss Pennicott's room. Now when you get to the top of the stairs, take an immediate left and walk along the corridor. Now Miss Pennicott's room is room NE. Just like Mr. Little's classroom, it is very much a classroom, it is not a lab. We can see we've got lots of nice space in here. As with Mr. Little, if you need to do any practical work in here, you'll go down to the Super Lab.
Hello, my name's Mrs. Pennicott and I'm one of the A-Level Physics teachers at Haysfield. I've been teaching A-Level Physics for, must be getting on for 18 or 20 years now. My degree was in Applied Physics and after that I worked at the Institute of Physics publishing for a good few years in science writing and publishing. And now I love teaching A-Level Physics. So when you come into Year 12, lots of the subjects you'll be doing will be a continuation of the things you've done at GCSE and looking into them more deeply, but we'll also get into the really cool stuff. We do quantum physics in Year 12, where you will find out about mind-bending things like wave-particle duality, the fact that electrons, which we've always said are particles, actually behave as waves, and the same, light, which we normally think of as a wave, is a particle as well. So we get into that really cool stuff as well. Anyway, I will look forward to meeting you in September. Take care. Bye-bye.
At the top of the stairs, turn right to go into my classroom. Now this is room NJ. It is a physics lab, so it's equipped with sinks, plugs, all of that good stuff. So we've heard from Miss Pennicott and Mr. Little. Thank you very much for that. I just wanted to talk to you about a few of the other subjects and the other topics that we cover within the physics course. Now in year 12 we do revisit some of the topics you would have studied back in GCSE. So you'll find that we revisit things like energy, the properties of matter and electrical circuits. Now we'll take all of the key ideas that you've got from your GCSEs and build on those and add extra layers of complexity. When we get to year 13, however, we start moving into topics you haven't really studied before. So the first topic we'll study is thermal physics and ideal gases. Now there's a nice crossover with A-level chemistry here, so if you're taking chemistry, that's going to be a bit of an advantage to you. We then look at objects travelling in circular paths or oscillating. This is described as simple harmonic motion. We then look at gravitational fields, so that's how gravity acts between two objects that have mass. And we link that to the space topic that Mr. Little told you about a little bit earlier. Then the last topic is probably my favourite. This is where we study particle physics and nuclear physics. You currently know about the atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, but that's just a tiny fraction of the picture. There is a whole lot more going on that subatomic level, and we get to study that. I hope you're looking forward to it. Let's see some of the cool things you'll do next year. What I wanted to do at the end of this video is just give you a quick look into the future and what you need to be prepared to study physics here at Haysfield. Now in terms of the equipment you're going to need, it's pretty standard stuff. First of all, you're going to need a pencil case. All the normal things, pens, pencils, rulers, rubbers, would be useful if you had a protractor as well. Now in addition to that, you need to have a scientific calculator. Now this is super important. This is going to be your best friend during your studies of physics here at Haysfield. You can have a graphical calculator or a scientific calculator, but you just need to have one. Now in terms of organising your work, there's a few strict things you need to arrive to your first physics lesson with. Now the first thing is some kind of folder. It doesn't need to be a boring black one like this. It can be any style that you want. It can be one of these slightly smaller ones, one of the slightly larger ones, but just be aware that you will be carrying these around with you. In addition to that, you also need to bring along some poly pockets. I recommend about 10 of these should do. You also need some folder dividers. Again, you need to have at least 10 of these. Now do not worry about trying to organise your folder at this point. That's something we're going to do in our first lesson of physics when we arrive here. I'd also recommend you bring yourself either a pad of paper or some lined paper to make some notes on. Now can you please bring all of that to your first lesson and we'll get your folder all set up and running, ready for your studies. In addition to that, you also need to make sure you have a physics textbook. Now I'll put a description up on the screen here of which textbooks you need, but you can probably find them on Amazon pretty easily. They look like this. Now this textbook covers the year 12 content only. Now that's fine, you only need this one for year 12, but you will need to buy the second half of this textbook, the year 13 content, next year. If you want to buy the whole thing in one, this slightly larger textbook, this covers everything from year 12 and year 13. It is a bit more expensive, but actually comes out cheaper than buying the two separate smaller ones. Make sure you're prepared. I'm really looking forward to seeing you whenever you're back into school. Look after yourselves and I'll see you all soon.